Losing money feels like pain. Gaining money feels like pleasure. But one of them hits your brain twice as hard. This is not your fault. This is how your mind was built, long before money existed. Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful ideas in behavioral finance, loss aversion, a principle discovered by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. It explains why you sometimes panic and sell at the wrong time, hold losing stocks hoping they'll recover, avoid opportunities that could make you richer, feel regret stronger than excitement, protect what you have, instead of building what you want because your brain is wired with a survival instinct. Avoid pain, even at the cost of missing success. Kahneman found that losing $100 hurts about twice as much as gaining $100 feels good. Meaning, if you gain $100, your brain gives you one emotional score. If you lose $100, your brain hits you with -2. So even if a situation is perfectly balanced, your mind sees it as a risk. This creates a money belief that destroys financial potential. Better to not lose, even if it means not winning. And in a world where opportunity is everywhere, not taking action is the most expensive decision of all. Your brain evolved when losing resources meant dying. No food, no shelter, no tribe. So your mind learned a rule: protect what you have at all costs. That rule worked 100,000 years ago, but in today's economy, it keeps people trapped in the same financial place forever. You protect your comfort zone. You protect what feels certain. You protect the present and sacrifice your future. This is why most people don't invest, don't start a business, don't ask for a raise, don't take calculated risks, don't change anything even when stuck. They're not lazy. They're not stupid. They're afraid of losing more than they desire winning. Your brain's first question isn't, how much could I gain? It is always, what if I lose? You think you are being logical, but your brain is being emotional. It exaggerates the threat. It imagines disaster. It creates fear without proof. And fear kills wealth. Because every major financial success in history comes from someone who dared to take a chance. The rich do not avoid risks. They manage them. They prepare for them. They accept them. Most people never even try. Here is something shocking. Losing a small amount can feel like a huge event. You could gain $100 today, gain $100 tomorrow, gain $100 the next day, and you would feel just good. But lose $100 once, and it can ruin your mood for a week. Why? Because loss activates the same brain region connected to physical pain. Your brain treats financial loss like danger. It tells you, never let this happen again. So you avoid situations where loss is possible, including situations where success is probable. This is how dreams shrink. This is how potential dies quietly. You think you're avoiding pain, but you're creating another kind of pain: regret. Regret does not hit immediately. It grows slowly, over years, while opportunities pass by. Avoiding risks feels safe, until life reminds you that the safest choice can be the most costly one. You don't lose money. You lose time. You lose progress. You lose who you could have become. The first step to financial power is not making more money. It is understanding your own brain. Because if you don't control your psychology will control your wallet. This video will show you why losses dominate decisions, how your brain reacts irrationally to risk, how to break the fear of losing, how to make smarter financial moves confidently. You are about to upgrade the mental software that controls your wealth. Awareness is the first investment, and it pays the highest interest. You might believe you are making choices through logic, but money decisions come from a deeper place: emotion first, logic later. This is why even intelligent people sell when they should hold. Avoid investing because it feels risky. Spend impulsively trying to feel better. Freeze when opportunities appear. Regret decisions they never matter. Your brain's goal is not to make you wealthy. Its goal is to keep you safe. But in today's world, safety keeps you stuck. To build wealth, you must take controlled risks. Invest, learn, try, fail, adjust, grow. But your brain argues, don't risk losing what you already have. This creates a constant inner conflict. Most people allow their survival brain to win every time. Result: a lifetime of average decisions. A lifetime of almost. a lifetime of never seeing what success feels like. When people avoid investing, they think they're being smart, but they're losing in a different way. Inflation eats your savings. Opportunities move forward without you. Your earning potential remains untapped. Your future becomes smaller. Playing safe feels good today, but costs you tomorrow. Your survival brain protects the present, even if the future pays the price. That is loss aversion in action. Why does a loss hurt so badly? Because your brain records losses as failures, personal identity damage. A win feels like, I did something right. A loss feels like, I am something wrong. So the pain isn't just financial, it's emotional, it's ego, it's self-worth, and the brain will defend itself, even if it means rejecting success. Your mind isn't afraid of losing money, it's afraid of feeling dumb. You think, what will I tell myself if this goes wrong? So your brain chooses a comfortable lie. It's not worth the risk, and that lie becomes a habit. You avoid situations where you might feel regret, but end up creating a lifetime of regret instead. The comfort zone is a mental prison. It convinces you that less risk equals less stress, less change equals more control, less action equals more safety. But the truth, less risk often means less life. Less action means less wealth. You don't need to jump into danger, you just need to step beyond fear, because every level of wealth you want exists just outside your comfort zone. Daniel Kahneman proved that your brain does not measure money accurately. It measures feelings. Gain equals short boost, loss equals deep wound. This imbalance leads to irrational decisions. You sell winners too early, fear they'll drop. You keep losers too long, fear locking the loss. You demand too much reward to take even a tiny risk. The brain exaggerates risk and undervalues possibility, so success becomes less about knowledge and more about emotion management. Financial literacy is not only understanding markets, learning investment strategies, running numbers. It is knowing how your own brain works. Money isn't emotional, you are. And unless you master that emotion, money will always feel like a threat. Not because they lack opportunities, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack ambition, but because they avoid the temporary discomfort that leads to long-term success. Your brain is tricking you, not to protect your finances, but to protect your feelings. And that instinct was useful in the past, but now holds people back more than anything else in life. The good news, once you see the psychological trap, you can escape it. You can update your mental software. You can make decisions from strength, not fear. This is the evolution from survival mindset to wealth mindset. You may think loss aversion only matters in big financial moments, but it quietly influences your everyday decisions. It affects how you spend, save, invest, negotiate, take opportunities, react to change. Your brain constantly asks, what if I lose? And rarely asks, what if I win? Let's expose how it controls your money silently. Here's a paradox. Buying something feels like gaining, investing something feels like risking. Though spending guarantees you lose money, while investing could help you grow it. Why? Because spending brings immediate pleasure while investing brings uncertain outcomes. Your brain values the comfort of no more than the benefits of later. That is loss aversion, protecting the present and sabotaging the future. When you buy something that loses value, you already lost, but selling it makes the loss real. Your brain prefers a comfortable lie. It will go back up someday. This keeps people holding losers for years. Their pride becomes more valuable than their portfolio. Loss aversion doesn't just cost money. It blocks learning. It blocks progress. It blocks change. You want to save more. You want to invest more. You want to grow wealth. But then your brain whispers, what if it goes wrong? What if I need that money? What if it's not the right time yet? And suddenly, procrastination feels like being smart. Your brain calls it caution, but it's really fear in disguise. The biggest expense in life? Waiting. Paying a $10 fee feels awful, even if it helps you earn $100 more. This is the mind's imbalance at work. Tiny losses feel like big threats. Big opportunities feel like small rewards. Your brain exaggerates the pain and minimizes the gain. This leads to fear-driven choices instead of future-driven choices. There's a related bias called the endowment effect. Once something is yours, you believe it's worth more than it actually is, because losing it feels like losing a part of yourself. This happens with stocks, collectibles, business ideas, old habits, even unhealthy financial beliefs. You cling to the familiar and reject the better future. When a product is discounted, your brain sees it as avoiding a loss. You think you're saving money, but you're actually spending money you didn't plan to spend. Loss aversion doesn't just protect you from risk. It pushes you toward bad decisions if the decision comes packaged as a win. The brain is emotional, not rational. You overestimate negatives. What if everything goes wrong? And underestimate positives. What if this changes my life? Your brain plays a movie of fear, but rarely plays a movie of success. That movie shapes your behavior. Fear makes your world small. Courage expands it. People think, once I have more money, I'll take risks. But the truth is, you need to take risks to have more money. You don't get courage after success. You get success after courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward even when fear is loud. Loss aversion will always exist. You cannot delete it, but you can control it. Wealth is not about eliminating fear of loss. It's about reducing loss emotionally and accepting loss logically. Because every investor, every entrepreneur, every wealthy person on earth has faced losses. Not once, not sometimes, but constantly. They do not fear losing $100. They fear losing potential. Your financial future depends on one question. Do you want to protect your comfort today or protect your freedom tomorrow? Your answer defines your destiny. Loss aversion is natural. It is universal. It is part of being human. But wealthy thinking humans refuse to let fear make their financial decisions. They understand a simple truth. You cannot grow without accepting that losses may happen. That is the mindset shift that transforms financial lives. Today, you learn how to make it yours. Instead of asking, what if I lose? Ask, what if I win? Fear imagines a dark future. Confidence imagines a better one. Your brain needs new evidence, new beliefs, new direction. Great opportunities are invisible to the survival brain. You must train the wealth brain to see them. Loss aversion exaggerates the present. It ignores the future, but wealth is built on time. Time in the market, time learning, time growing, time improving. Short-term pain leads to long-term power. When your focus shifts from today's fear to tomorrow's potential, you win. Losses are not the end. Losses are education. Losing a little teaches you how not to lose a lot. Mistakes now prevent disasters later. Failure builds resilience that success never will. Every expert once paid the cost of learning. Every master was once a beginner with doubts. Don't fear tuition. Fear ignorance. Write risks down. Analyze the numbers. Measure impact. Compare outcomes. When emotion tries to exaggerate fear, logic brings scale. What is the real worst-case scenario? What is the probability? What opportunities outweigh this fear? Confidence doesn't mean zero risk. Confidence means knowing the truth and acting anyway. You don't need endless courage, just a smart plan. Set risk limits, diversify investments, automate savings, decide rules before emotions hit, review performance over long period systems, make decisions before fear gets a chance. Wealth is not only discipline, wealth is design. You only lose when you quit learning. Losing $100 hurts more than gaining $100. Feels good, but gaining knowledge feels far more valuable than both. When you turn every loss into data, fear becomes powerless. Progress becomes inevitable. If you try, you are already ahead of those who don't. Reward the action, not just the result. Every courageous decision is a step toward the life you want, and every avoided opportunity is a step backward. Choose wisely. Repeat to yourself, I refuse to let the fear of losing decide my future, because if you avoid all risks, you avoid all rewards. Winning requires trying. Growth requires change. Freedom requires faith in yourself. The survival brain keeps you alive. The wealth brain helps you live. Which one do you want leading your life? Today, you learned why losses feel twice as powerful as gains, how fear distorts rational money decisions, where loss aversion traps you daily, how to replace fear with strategy, how to evolve into a wealth thinker. Now the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? Because the biggest loss is not losing money, it is losing the life you could have lived. Take your power back. Upgrade your thinking. Control your future. Remember, losing $100 hurts, but losing your potential hurts far more.